So it was -4 degrees last night. Pretty frosty, as you can see. Look at the state of the bike. And I'm staying in the caravan. I was staying here last night and I'm staying here again tonight. I've got my 2 sleeping bag system, and it was just about warm enough in here for me to get a fairly good night's sleep. I did wake up a little bit chilly this morning. That's in a caravan, so I'm wondering if my sleeping bags are going to be enough. When this is what I'm guarding. I'm the night guard duty for these Christmas trees, just for two nights. And I'm wondering if my 2-bag system is going to be sufficient when I'm in a tent sleeping right on the ground. I've got a little inflatable sleeping mat as well for a bit of insulation from the ground. If the ground is cold and frosty like this when I'm cycling down through France, I don't think 2 sleeping bags and a 25mm inflatable mat's going to be enough. So like I say, I've still got to test this. And of course, when I came out of the caravan this morning, I can go straight up to the house where it's warm, put on my jacket and my fleece, which I won't have when I'm travelling. You know, when I'm travelling, I'm going to have a hoodie and like my thin cycling jacket. And it's going to be a case of getting up in the morning, surrounded by frost. Sun still won't quite be up, and I'm going to have to pack all my gear onto this freezing cold bike. And it's not going to be until I start pedalling that I start to warm up. So it's a little bit of a daunting prospect, and if it snows, God help me. So this is the extent of my stuff that I have left at the farm. There's all of my tools for working on bikes here, tyres and wheels, you know, some old forks, some other bits and pieces, mostly to do with bicycle stuff. This is why I come and look after the bike, and like, you know, knackered wheels, knackered frame. And what I'm going to do today is have a goddamn massive bonfire. There's a bonfire out on the heath, and I'm going to try and dispose of as much of this stuff as possible. Anything that will burn, I'm going to burn it. That isn't, you know, useful, I'm not taking it with me. I mean, most of it is useful stuff. It's going to go to France ultimately. Hi guys, I'm back for my second shift of night security duty on the Christmas tree farm. Do you know what, I've just realised something, making life difficult for myself here. Check this out. Damn, look at that. Alright, we are going to be cooking up a storm in here this evening. If I can just get the camera angle right, which I can't because you can't see a goddamn thing. So we're doing another one of them cooking shows. I'm sure you all know what the MSR Whisperlight International camping stove is. You know, you've all got one of these at home, right? I like to put mine on top of the gas hob. You can burn just about anything in one of these babies. Use some water, the water's all on the bike, isn't it? Oh shit, my pan's catching fire. Just preheating the burner at the moment, this is perfectly normal. Right, now we give it some gas. So this is the exact system I'll be carrying with me when I travel to France on the bike. We've got some broccoli, we've got some shit, camera mount is not working too well. Right, and we've got some asparagus tips. It's coming along nicely. I'm going to add some black beans. Right, that's it. So we turn the tap off. Just take this outside and drain it. Nice. Now, when you're travelling by bicycle, obviously you want to keep everything as light and as simple as possible. So, you know, a really simple solution we use for herbs and spices for seasoning. You just get one herb pot, and then you just put a little bit of everything you got in your kitchen all into the one pot. So this says oregano on the label, or as they say in the States, oregano, but that is actually mostly salt and turmeric, which is just what I had in the kitchen. So I'm going to try and put just the right amount in. you got to think that's mostly salt, so I'd probably just put loads of salt in there. And I think that just rice on its own, with maybe half a can of lentils or beans or something like that, and even just one kind of veg, but I've actually got 2 in it, that makes a fine evening meal. If you've been working hard all day, cycling, especially if it's cold, this is something you can make in 15 minutes and it's going to be really satisfying, you know. So there you have it. I've got mains power in the Night Watch caravan, but I don't have the internet, so when I was at Grandma's just now, I downloaded a bunch of videos. This man here, if you don't know this man here, this is John St. Julian. He's an Englishman who went to Africa a long time ago, followed the numbers, followed his spiritual awakening. God was speaking to him through the numbers and through other signs, and he opened an orphanage. And this man speaks a lot of truth and a lot of good sense as well. He is out of the box, he is a truther, he is into the Christ consciousness in a big way. That's where I learnt most about that particular topic. And he's just talking right now about some videos he made that he had to take down that were about Russell Brand and Fabian socialism. And I remember watching that series. That's actually how I originally found this guy, because I was watching The Truths, which was Russell Brand's media analysis show. A lot of people will know The Truths. One of the things that Mr. St. Julian taught me was that by watching The Truths, you feel like you're outside of the box. You feel like, yes, I'm above this media circus. We all know that the news is bullshit and it's programming us, but what The Truths was doing is that people who were waking up and becoming part of the truth movement were immediately just through this Truths, Russell Brand Truths channel, were coming right back to looking at the problem, reaction, no solution, which is what the news is. I was at Grandma's earlier and the news was on, and I just caught a glimpse of, I didn't see anything, but I just heard it. There's been a terrorist attack or something in the run up to an election. Apparently there's a general election taking place. There's been a terrorist attack, and you can just hear what the commentators that they bring into the studio, you can just hear what they're saying. They're pushing fear, and they're trying to get people to think in a certain way and trying to get people to vote in a certain way. And it's really scary, and it's very, very obvious when you unplug yourself for any significant period of time and then you go back and you catch a little glimpse of it. I did a video recently titled "All News is Fake," and I talk at length about the kind of things that you will notice about the news when you cut it out for good and then you go back. So he's had to take down a bunch of videos because they were violating YouTube's terms of service, and he got flagged a few times. But yeah, check this guy out. I'll put a link to his channel below, and also I'll put a link to All News is Fake if you want to take a look at that. For dessert we are having porridge, walnuts, and again it was a sign from the universe, reduced to 99p. Bunch of bananas. I don't need signs from the universe to tell me to eat bananas. This is something I've pioneered and developed in the woods. You just want to leave one little bit of skin on the back like that, and you're going to use that as a chopping board, and then basically you can just chop your banana as thin as you want. Nicely chopped. Just basically carbohydrate, and a bit more carbohydrate for flavour. Right, it's about 10 o'clock. I've got to go out and check on the trees. Let's have a look at the bike. She's already getting quite frosty. Hi guys, anyone checking on the security? Hey. Here's some, oh shit, my head torch is too low on battery to do this. But you know, you have to trust me. There's some trees out here. That's it for this evening. I'm going to crawl into my double sleeping bag system and just try and survive the night. Try not to freeze to death.